Hey guys, it's Thursday today, and thought I'd take you along with me on this real quick. Very controversial subject, but whatever. We'll see how it works out. And so here's what I've done. You seen what I did with this whole deal? Why I OSFO'd it, and that's the OSFO. Been sitting on there for 48 hours probably. And so now, because I use SPI epoxy, and this is, I'm not going to say it's only SPI epoxy because it could be other epoxies too. You're going to have to check your tech sheets for whatever, but a lot of people will just clean this up a little bit and just shoot their epoxy right over top of it. Well, if you use SPI epoxy, you do not want to do that. It does not react well. It will let loose. It's just the way it is with that epoxy. So they recommend that you do not use acid products underneath their products at all. OSFO works so well with killing the rust and killing all that. They say if you do use acid, if you lost your mind like I have and you use acid under it, then you need to neutralize that acid. The only way you can neutralize acid, according to SPI's owner, is to re-wet with acid. Okay, reactivate the acid that's on there basically for 2-3 minutes. Let it sit and be wet, and then take you some. Then rinse it with water is what it says. Well, I've got some warm soapy water here, and I've got a little scrubby pad, and I'm going to scrub the piss out of it, soak it down, get it all nice and cleaned up, and then dry it real well, and then I'm just going to spray some primer and a little bit of regular flat black paint over it for now, just to keep it until till I actually start doing this vehicle. But I thought I'd take you along with this for this little process, just to kind of show you what I'm going to do. And so that's it. And you can see it's turned all the rust in here black. I may come back over that after I get this all cleaned up and everything. I may come back over that and kind of wire wheel that and see if there's any red rust underneath that, because I hear people say, well, it just turns that black and there's still rust underneath there. If there is, since it's such a beautiful day today, I will get my spot blaster out and I'll blast all that shit out of there manually with a blaster. So alright, here we go. Set you down here. It's hard to see outside because of the sun. I think that looks like it'll work. My spray bottle, I think the acid, it only shoots a straight stream. I think the acid's messed with it enough that it doesn't want to shoot a mist, which is probably better because I'm outside. I really don't want acid mist all over the place, but I just want to hit the metal. Move this camera. It's starting to try to miss that way. It won't be good. I'll get acid all over my camera. No bueno. Well, this is phosphoric acid, basically. Just kind of wetting it down. I'm gonna grab a paper towel and kind of smear that around any areas. Go ahead and hit it again. So if this missed it out, it'd be a whole lot better. Keep this wet for a few minutes. Sprayed acid all over my tire. Hopefully the rubber don't get affected by it. That's the bad thing about this acid, is it's hard to control it. Now they make some navel jelly that's a gel, and it's easier to control it, but they say it's not as strong as this. So it's kind of one of those deals where, you know, it is what it is. So yeah, I'm gonna sit here for a few more minutes, and then I'm gonna get to rinsing on that. I'll bring you back. Alright guys, so I've soaked that down several more times to keep it wet, and so now I'm going to go ahead and rinse it off. It's been probably 3 or 4 minutes, and so that should be plenty according to SPI. I'm just going to take a hose, just kind of run it over it, just to knock it all off there. And I lost all my water pressure. That's good. Alright, well let me figure out what's going on there. Kinking the hose. Alright. Down. Alright, now I'm going to take my little soapy water and this little Scotch-Brite, kind of just wash all this area up good. Doesn't say to do this, but I can't imagine it would hurt. Matter of fact, it should help actually. And this is soapy water. I just put some Dawn dish soap in this. It's another good wax and grease type, you know, remover. Put your soap in there. Alright, I'm gonna rinse again. I'm gonna grab a hose, my hose, and I'm gonna blow this off. Good. Should have taken all that OSPO off. Alright, let's dry this bad boy up. Bring it right back. Alright. So, now I'm going to get 180 on a DA. Brain's not fully functioning this morning, by the way. And I'm going to basically get any of the, because you're going to get a little trying to flash rust type stuff. Knock all that shit off there and get nice shiny metal. Still a little bit wet. All right, bring you back. All right, I went ahead and took a heat gun and heated all this up good. That way I make sure I get any kind of, you know, water that was down in any kind of small areas, got it out of there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and 180 this. out these pits here. It really doesn't look too bad to me. I don't see any red rust or anything underneath any of that. But if you wanted to, you could, you know, take your blaster and knock that shit out of there. I'm not that worried about it right now. Like I said, this is a temporary deal. I just wanted to get this straightened back out to where it looked decent, wasn't all smashed up underneath there. Ultimately, this whole thing's coming off. It's going to be re-80'd all the way down to bare metal, then epoxy primed and the whole deal. So this is just temporary, just to kind of get me set up. That's why I'm using a rattle can. And so I'll bring you back. I'm gonna clean this up real quick, and then I'll get some paint out here and we'll throw some rattle can on it. See ya. Alright guys, I'm about ready to spray some little bit of self-etching primer. I'm gonna take you along for this real quick, just in case you guys are new to masking or whatever. So take your paper, put it here if you want a soft line. It's what they call a soft line. You don't hard edges when you're painting anything really. So just take your paper and just pull it back. And this will leave you a soft edge. You also don't want to spray right up to your paper. I do definitely want to make sure I get all the metal. So yeah, just fold it back, take your little piece of tape, and run your paper down. It's not too windy out here, but it has little gusts every so often, so I'm gonna have to take this down a couple spots. Like I said, I'm not worried about overspray, otherwise I'd do, you know, a whole bunch of junk. This ultimately doesn't matter. This thing's got to be stripped down. It's kind of like the Camaro. It does not matter whatsoever. I don't even give a shit if I get it on the here, you know what I mean? So, one of those deals. Just a quickie, protect it, straighten it out, and that's it. Alright, and ultimately this is all already, I mean, this is going to act as a primer. I don't need to really put any etch over that. First light coat, I'll put 2 coats on it, and then I'll come back with my black. You can already see I worked all this up here, looks fantastic. I didn't give this so much attention, and I can see a little area right through here that needed to be rounded more, but is what it is, you know. Like I said, I was trying to get most of that, all that crap out, so it looks a lot better than it did. It's gonna look 100 times better than the rest of the truck because it's pretty bad off, rusty. So this stuff flashes pretty quick. You can watch it. It's starting to. You can just literally watch it. It's flashing as we speak. You can watch it go away. It turns from a shiny to just a dull. So it's just about ready for the second coat. I'll put the second coat on a little bit heavier than that one. I always put the first coat on, try to, you know, a little bit lighter. She's about good. be it. I'll let that flash, and then I'll just come back over some black. And once I'm done with the black, I'll bring you back. You guys will watch me spray with a freaking spray can. I mean, my handicapped little girl could probably do this. So, all right, I'll bring you back. All right, guys, there it is. As good as it's gonna get for now. You can see there, it looks pretty nice, pretty straight. Real happy with it. So that's it for that. That's a done deal. We're gonna get back on the Camaro. Hey guys, I forgot to show you that. Only problem is I grabbed a can of gloss, and I think I told you this earlier. I grabbed a can of gloss instead of a can of flat, so but all that's back in there. It's not pushed up as far as it should be because this bolt's not in, because this piece up here got bent in real bad, and I wasn't able to get it out without. I'll probably have to take it completely off, and that is taking these tacks off, but all this has got to come off anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And that's just a splash guard, but it turned out pretty good. I mean, it's not great, it's not perfect, but I mean, under there, it is what it is. So I was just going to show you that real quick. I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Hey guys, so I got a wild hair, and I thought, you know what? This latch in here is messed up. It hadn't been opening and closing, so I got it unhooked at one point, but it still didn't work. It was still jacked up. So I bought a new lock set for it, like Home Depot or whatever, and it looked like it would work perfect. It's got the same size, everything. I'd have to cut that down a little bit, but looked like it'd work perfect. So I disassembled everything, and it's got rods that run all the way out through here, and then it comes out here and has a latch that latches into this little guy right here. So pull all that apart. Looks like that's going to be savable, workable, all that kind of stuff. But as I got to, it looks like somebody else has already been in here and tried to do some stuff and fiberglass this all up and had pop rivets all through here. So I popped all the pop rivets out, pop rivets up through here, got all that out. We'll finally pull all that stuff out of there. I don't know if you can see that, but that's rusted so bad, and it's like the internal frame for that whole lock set, and it's just trash because of water getting in here and around this gasket and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's.
The National Weather Service has issued a fire weather watch. The National Weather Service has issued a fire weather watch.
Fire weather watch. Okay. So anyway, let's see. No fire. No fire. Nope, we're safe. All right. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to learn how to do some fiberglass work, because somebody obviously cut this out and did something, built something for that to brace that in there or something somehow. But yeah, that's not exactly what I had in mind to do, but you can see they've kind of done whatever they've done there to make this work, and for whatever reason didn't seal it up. It's cracked in half here, cracked all the way up through here, probably all the way up. They've kind of half-ass fixed that. Looks like they've put a bunch of silicone and shit. I mean, this top is kind of in rough shape, but they're so expensive. From what I understand, $1,500, $2,000 in this shape, or maybe even worse. So it's kind of hard to, you know what I mean, just say, oh well, just get another one. I know they make soft tops, but I've always liked the hard tops. And this was in horrible shape, except for that back door is pretty rough. And you know, they siliconed all this down to keep it from leaking, which did not work because it rusted out here. So not sure what I'm gonna do. Obviously this is just gonna probably just lay, and I don't even know, I might be able to strap it down so it doesn't bounce around so much. But yeah, I thought I'd be a little quick 30-45 minute deal, and there's what you get into. Like I said, that it's just completely rusted to where that needs, all that metal needs to come out of there, and I don't know how far it goes. I'm assuming maybe it comes to here because that's where they cut it out before, but it's hard to tell. And so don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna get all this mess cleaned up and then find something else to do. See ya. Alright guys, this is gonna be it for me today. Went ahead and got all this fiberglass. Make sure that you feather this out good, make sure those edges are smooth, the whole deal. I haven't got underneath here yet, not that worried about it. I was going to show you something here real quick, and it's something that I struggled with when I was apprentice at the body shop. And this is going to seem really simple or common, or I don't even know what word you would use for it. You would think common sense, but it wasn't for me. So super easy. You're gonna go, wow, that's dumb, whatever. But if it helps somebody, then that's good. Okay, your block, putting paper on your block. There's probably a lot of different ways to do this, but I used to struggle with it, and I'd tear half of it, would come off on my, halfway up here, or I'd get it too long, or it'd be just jacked. So easiest way I found to do this. Let me see if let me spin it around this way maybe. Hopefully you can see that. Just take this, roll it out. Okay, I'm gonna take this piece off. Also make sure you get all the little bullshit out from underneath, right? This little stuff like this, that stuff can, mess up your flatness of your block. So just throw it out like this. Set your block on it, okay? Right where you want it. Just like that, all right? Now, pick your roll up, get it right up to the edge, press it down. Okay, this is 80, so it pops real easy, okay? That's gonna pop right the way you want it to. So it comes out perfect here, perfect here. But it's the same on 180 or 3, whatever you're gonna use, 320. You're gonna have to fork it over a little bit and then press it down good, and then you can just come back up and rip it clean because you're putting that edge in there. I'm telling you, it sounds stupid, but I used to lay this stuff down, and I'd try to put the block on it, and then I'd try to rip it like that, and I would screw that paper up so bad. I'd be irritated and frustrated because it seemed like I wasted a piece of paper because this whole corner was tore off of it or whatever. So I know this is super simple and whatever, but if it helps somebody, you know what? It helps somebody. So it's basics of the basic stuff, but you'd be surprised how green I was when I started this. I mean, literally, I didn't know how to tear a piece of paper off without having to screw up. So that shows you how far along I've come with it. But yeah, pretty well done with this. I'm thinking maybe tomorrow of trying to do some epoxy. I got to scuff all that stuff up real good, 180 it down. We'll have to see. I've got my little girl, so we'll see how that works out. But it's supposed to be really nice this weekend, so if I don't get it done tomorrow, I may try to get it done Saturday or something like that. And so yeah, super beautiful out today. I got both the doors open, and I think it's probably what, 65, 66 degrees outside, so it's awesome. Anyway, both these fenders are done. I'm going to cut it there. Probably another 30-minute video or more. I'll probably have to edit a bunch of it out just so it's not so stinking long. So, all right, guys, have a good evening. I'll talk to you later.